First of all, I am feeling highly delighted for being invited for this presentation. So today's topic is how to be safe in this world where ethical hacking, cyber threats are everywhere. So I'm going to show you some of the basic techniques that people actually use to breach into networks and how to stay safe from them. All right, so for some technical reason, I don't have any presentation with me. So I thought, why don't we go for a live session, right? I'm going to share some of the websites. I'm going to show you some live websites which are available for this kind of hacks. So let's start. So first of all, my name is Saptarshi Ghosh, and I'm right now a researcher in LSBU in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. And my area of research is cybersecurity in 5G. All right, so I'm sharing my screen, and then I will show you some of the tools. Can you see my screen? Can I have a quick confirmation?
Yeah, I can see your screen. Yep.
Perfect. All right, the first tool I'm going to show you is what we call a website Informa. Before I start this, let me show you something. Whenever you are hosting a web page, or you are kind of hosting your web page to some other server, let's say you have a company and you have something to share. Now what happens, some of the details of your website, let's say who own this website, or kind of what are the dates where your website data are renewed, this kind of information are stored publicly, right? So this information are kept in public, and this is one of the website where you can find all this information. So let's start with LSBU's website, lsbu.ac.uk, and you can find all this information. Now, first of all, this is not unethical because these are public information. Now, the reason we use it through the website, because they collect all this information from all these repositories, and you can find them in one single place. So first of all, in this case, we can see when this website was created, when the license is going to be expired. So this is a time 25th of April 2021, when LSBU will actually renew the license, right? Who is owning it, where it is being hosted, public IP of it, and other information, for example, at which address the billing are made. Now also you can see the traffic details over time. Now, first of all, one can ask us, okay, what kind of hack can happen from this information? But think of this 25th April, the date. That's the day when the person who's responsible for this kind of maintenance, he will make a transfer to this company who is hosting this web page, right? So if I have this information with me, what I can do, I can simply go and track those accounts which are assigned with people who is owning it, right? So I can expect a transfer. It is also similar, like when you are posting in a social media platform, for example, in Facebook, that you are going for a holiday for 5 days. You're actually saying you're keeping your home unsafe for 5 days, right? There's not going to be any people on your home on those 5 days. This is one of the things you need to be aware of when you are hosting a website, and you can control what information you can put on these public domains. Now you can see here the name is only given who's owning the website, but not the account details. All right. So this is one of the way people get breached, because you can control what information you want to share. All right. This is the first one. The next one is even deadlier. It's called Hacker for Charity. Now, what this website does, to understand the way these websites work, we need to understand something called exploits. Now, exploits are loopholes which are made into, or which are left by the developer in a software tools. So what happens? These websites just try to find out those loopholes and they put them together. Now, always it is recommended, if you are using an enterprise environment, try to update your softwares when it is needed, because if you are using an older version of software and if there is a loophole on that software, that loophole can be used to hack into the system. And how do you find those loopholes? They are all listed here. If you go down, you can find different loopholes or different exploits which are found over the time, and they're all kept and in an organized manner. I can't go deep into this website because that won't be quote unquote ethical for this presentation. I think we have some questions. Are we supposed to take these questions now or after the presentation?
We can hold questions till the end. That's fine.
All right. Right. So now from these two, let me show you something more. Now, ExploitDB or exploit database is kind of an advanced version of this hackers for charity. This one. This is kind of, it also shows you what are different hacks that is made, what we call the 0-day attacks. That means these are the time when somebody found a vulnerability on a system, and the way they actually found those systems, get hacked, they also document them and put it here. So someone who is actually trying to get into some system will do first a small statistics check on this one, website Informa. You'll find what system this website is using. Now from there, it'll go and find out what are the exploits available on that system. All right. And using those tools or those techniques, they can get into it. So now from a ethical hacking perspective, how do you prevent this? One way is you need to be updated with all this information, because the same source of information what the hackers are also seeing. So if you know what those people are seeing, the malicious people are seeing, you can also see what exploits are available now. So how can you prevent them, to breach your system? One example of it is what we call this solar winds attacks. I hope some of you are familiar with this name. It happened a couple of months ago. A lot of like US department got hacked. Now, the way it was done, allegedly some malicious people, they got into the patch server of the solar wind company, and they put a malicious patch into the system. And everybody who are using those tools got an update notification that a new version of SolarWind product is available, and they updated their system and they got breached. All right. Now, not all SolarWind vendors got compromised. The reason is, if somebody knew that that kind of a 0-day attack on SolarWind system is available on ExploitDB or Hackers for Charity, they would never go for this update, right? So familiar with all these tools, and these are all publicly available information. They are not quote unquote dark web information, so you can find them in public. But if you need to prevent your system to get breached, you need to use those same information what the hackers are using. Now, finally, there's one more thing, which is called a Tor browser. This is a bit advanced topic. I will just scratch the surface. If you're working as a security professional, you would need to explore some of the information which are not hosted in public servers, right? For example, from a hacker's point of view, or a malicious, unethical hacker's point of view, they serve some of the web which are not available, on, they're not indexed in Google. So how do you find them? Right, this is where these Tor browsers come in. So this is something called an onion Tor Onion browser, which actually provide a VPN connection or virtual private network connection. And what it does actually, when you're surfing on internet, it hides your identity. All right. So using Tor, if you open the same websites, not the same website, but similar kind of websites, you would find some more information which are not available in Google. I just showed you these two, Hackers for Charity and ExploitDB. These are Google indexed websites, but you can find more. You can find more information about different type of exploits in other websites, which we call darknets. Right. So Onion browser to surf, you know what is happening, what are the present exploits available on different systems on ExploitDB and Hackers for Charity, and what information is being posted online for your website or your enterprise. You can find it from here. The last website I'm going to show you is people.com.
You're not sharing your screen at the moment, just let you know.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yes, that's perfect. Yep.
Yeah. I think this website is blocked. Sorry, guys, I can't show you this one. All right. There used to be a website. Okay, I take my word back. All right. There used to be a website called people.com where you can find a kind of collection of all social media accounts into one single place. I'm not sure if it is being blocked by my ISP, but you can try from your own computer. So let's take my word back from there, right? So let's focus on these three. For starters, these three are kind of the first three places to look for exploits. Website Informa, Hackers for Charity, and ExploitDB. All right, so if you have any questions now, I can start posting and I will try my best to answer them. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you very much, Saptarshi. We've got one question at the moment. So if you do have any more questions, just post them in the Q&A box and we can get through them for the remainder of today's session. So the question we have here is, how do you know whether your CCTV camera or phone camera is hacked?
All right, to know if your phone camera is hacked, I would say there's no way to know that. One way to know if your CCTV is hacked, you see your CCTV cameras are connected with the AVR devices where it captures all the videos, right? And you do it over a network. What you need to do is to run a packet sniffer on that network, right? What we call a RSPAN service. And there you can see some other IP addresses which are not enlisted on your network are also accessing the same streams coming from those cameras. That is one sign. The easy way, if you are using a computer with a small scale setup, let me show you a quick demo here. Every computer, let's say a Mac or a Linux system or Windows, has a command prompt. Okay, we call terminal in Macs. You'd use this command called netstat. All right, let me just zoom it a bit. Now, netstat is a command that is available on every system, be it Windows or Linux, whatever. What it does, it tries to scan how many active ports are there, okay, which are being accessed by a computer. And what you see here is this IP addresses is 192.168.0.109. That's your IP address, all right? And this one, the right-hand side one, is the IP address of the remote computer. So for example, I don't know what this server is, server 54.128, whatever. This is somewhere in the internet where I'm connecting with. These are the port numbers. Now, in an enterprise scenario, you actually filter these destination IP addresses. All right. So what happens? if there is one IP address which is not listed on your system, but you still see an established link which is connected. Just a moment, I think I have an update somewhere. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. So if you see a destination IP address is not enlisted on your servers or your filter list, that is one sign that somebody is sniffing on your network.
Okay. And is that easy to create your to find yourself in that sense? Like if you've literally got no knowledge in terms of cybersecurity, you just have to type in to get the command prompt. How do you do that again?
So the command is netstat. Let me just put it on a notepad. Or yeah. That's the command.
Okay. That's really interesting. Thank you for sharing.
So it shows you your source and the destination. So you need to filter from the destination side that I don't want to make a connection with that destination, right? So you make a list of like the whitelisted destinations. You must have seen, like, for example, if I block torrents from my websites of my internet, what I do, I just put that web link on the destination side. So I cannot create a connection with that.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. Our next question is it possible to hack one's router? If yes, how does one tell, and how does one avoid it?
Yeah. For Cisco routers, it is very easy. There are many ways of doing this. Let me just quickly list them. In the physical level, you can actually lock them, right, with some sort of cabinets. That's the physical level. So lock at physical. Now, if you want to lock them in the port level, for example, your router is connected with a computer, and it's tomorrow somebody come and remove that computer and put their own laptop with that same port, and that laptop contains a malicious software. How do you prevent it? So in layer 2, you have something called port security. So what it does, it copies the MAC address. Now, MAC address is something called a physical address of a port. It copies that number on the router. And next time somebody else put their computer, that MAC address won't be same. The router will detect that and stop the access. On top of that, if you go for higher layer access security, what you can do is something called control plane policing. Control plane policing. This is something which is only available in Cisco router at the moment. In other Juniper or something, they have different methods, but for Cisco it's very simple. What this does, it basically prevents any unauthorized access. You can also put a list of IP addresses or list of port numbers which can access the router. Anything apart from that won't get any access to the router. So you first lock the router on the physical level, then you apply port security on the port, and then you apply this control plane policing on the router software or the operating system.
Okay, thank you. Our next question is, what is a phishing attack, and how do we protect ourselves from this?
So phishing attack means somebody's pretending to be someone who they are not, right? Let's say I send an email that, hey, I'm your dean calling, and I need an urgent reply on this. Can you please share some of this information with me on maybe some other email addresses, okay? Not the official email addresses. Now, normally this kind of email comes with very high level of security, urgency. I need it urgently in 5 minutes. So you don't have those chance to check whether the person who's sending the email is the person who's pretending to be. Now, in phishing, what actually happens, the email contains a link that they want you to click. And once you click on that link, it creates a session with your system and it starts sort of stealing information from you, right? Now, how do you protect it? There is a tool called email tracker Pro. They have a free version of it, which is a trial for, I think, 2 months. This one. Now, what it does, whenever you have an email, let me show you some of mine which are not important. So for that, I'm stopping the screen share for a moment. Just a moment.
No worries. While we wait, I'm just going to post a few bits of information regarding the LSBU Women Engineering Series. Going to post our timeline, our updated profiles each month, as well as our YouTube playlist for the past event, for the past events that we've also held. If you do want to watch that in your leisure time, in that sense.
All right. So I have a email in my inbox which is not important, so I'm sharing with that one. All right, so I've got an email. And how do you check that this is not sent by a malicious guy? How do you check the identity of this email? So see here these 3 dots, right? Click there and click on show original, this one. Every email system, be it Gmail or Yahoo, whatever, you have these kind of options. You go there and this shows you some information like this. Now, if you go down, you will see some gibberish here. All right. Now, this is what we call the session. All you have to do, copy this information, this whole thing, and you use that software called Email Tracker Pro and paste it on that system. This will check the actual identity, the actual IP address where it was actually sent. So let's say somebody sent an email pretending to be the LSBU dean and sending me, okay, send me your payroll information with me in 5 minutes. I can actually go and verify that whether it is sent from LSBU or not with that software, Email Tracker Pro, and from this information. This is how you can check if you are being hacked with phishing, and you can check whether the identity is real.
And I'm guessing that sort of information is also used by the police to locate any people that are hacking into you more easily than if you just report it and say this person's hacked in it.
Exactly.
Okay, that's really interesting. I may have to get one myself for some of the emails I've received and people trying to get into my Facebook accounts and all that sort of stuff. Our next question here is there another way to test it? Is to get a friend to Zoom you, and then if your camera works, then you know someone has not hacked your camera.
Again, use netstat. So the same command. Normally in an enterprise environment, they're all protected by the firewall. So whoever implement your network, they put all those lists, right? So who are allowed to get into your network, and somebody who's trying to get into your network which are not whitelisted will get a prompt in the firewall that that session is blocked.
Okay. We haven't got a lot of time. We've only got a few minutes. So what I'll do, we've got a few questions. So I'm just going to try and get through 2. Got 2 before we end. So apologies if we don't get to your questions. So how easy is it to clone websites, and how do people do that?
All right. One more tool. HT track website mirroring. They're all free tools. I always tell this to my students that hacking is not a big deal, right? There are lots of tools available. There are operating systems like Kali Linux or Backtrack Windows. They have all these tools inbuilt. All you have to do to know how to use those tools. The problem is how to remove your footprint. The moment you hack into some network or you access some network, you leave your footprints there. And these are same footprints what the police use to actually follow and track you back. All right. So hacking is not a big deal. This tool, for example, is a free tool. Go and download it. And this one just need the web link. Let's say lsb.ac.uk. Just put that link there. Okay. What it will do, it will copy the entire website, what we call mirroring, into your local system. Now you must have think, why would someone do that? First of all, when somebody is trying to breach into a network, it doesn't happen like the way movies show you. It needs like months and months of planning. It needs different type of skill sets. One of it is to find a vulnerability on the website itself. You cannot do on a live website, because the moment you're trying to do those trial and error kind of things, the website will block you. So what you do, you first mirror those websites and then try your attacks on the mirrored website. Once you're successful, then use the same script on the live website. All right. And that's the tool. Select 3 or 4 MB tools, download it and open the tool and copy any website's link. Now, the moment you try to mirror the website, the server also gets information that someone is trying to mirroring you. If you try the same thing with LSBU website, it will reject all your requests, right? So you can actually build this feature on your website when you're building it. Yeah, so that's the tool, and websites also know that you are mirroring them, so you can also prevent them to be done.
Perfect. Thank you. And I'm just going to pick one last question. So what I'll do, I'm going to copy and paste the rest of the questions we have and see if we can answer them at a later time. And I can send that through to the registration people registered later on when we have the video uploaded to YouTube. So the last question I'll ask today is how to protect our website if we are hosting from our own computer.
First of all, it is not recommended that you host your website from your computer. The reason is, you see, the websites are simply a folder of web pages, right? And you are broadcasting those pages over the internet. So you're basically letting other people to access your computer. All right. The moment you do that, you're opening doors to the internet. And that's why people are actually, they don't actually host the website on premise, rather they put on the cloud. Because when you put them on a cloud or a hosting platform, they provide all the necessary platform protections like firewall or intrusion protection and detection systems, those things. So if you can afford them on your small scale implementations, you're welcome, but it is not recommended. So first of all, to protect your network with a firewall, and to detect whether is someone getting into those systems with something called IPS or IDS systems. And then you put a server behind it and you put your website there.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Saptarshi, for presenting and for answering our questions today. That's it for today's session. Thank you very much for your attendance all today. As mentioned, we have many other events within our LSBU 100 Women Engineering Event Series. I have posted the link where you can find our upcoming events, as well as our timeline and our profile pieces for each month going forward for our event series. And we look forward to seeing you in the future. Thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you.